How was the rest of your travel trip? Because you did that solo, and I saw that your brother set out challenges for you to complete.
Oh yeah. So yeah, my brother gave me, so the way the challenge thing worked was he had basically left me a day early because he got bitten by a feral dog on one of our runs that we got on. In Ninbin. Yeah, so I don't know if you want me to dive into that, but
Yeah, go for it.
anyways. Okay, yeah, so we
We're not
we
going
were
to just
in
go
Ninbin.
past that. Like, what?
Yeah, okay, so we went on quite a few runs during our time in Vietnam, and his whole his main sport is running, so he runs every day. Like that's his thing. So we were in Ninh the one day, and we were only stopping there for the one day, and we went on a run through this picturesque mountain road going through near all the Tit Mountains, and it was just super beautiful. And then he's a much faster runner than me, and I'd been slacking on my fitness during Vietnam, so he's like 500 meters in front of me, and I can just see him like as a little speck in front of me, but I know which way we're going because there's only one road. So what happens is he rounds this corner, so I can't see him anymore, but behind this corner there was like an abandoned house, and he was like, oh, okay, cool, I'm gonna try scout this abandoned house to see if there's a little thing to explore, and then I can get Seb to come afterwards. So he goes and he sees this little place, and he checks inside, and he sees there's two dogs lying by the entrance, and they're like, oh, big, but he's like, they won't do anything, it's fine, because they're like sleeping. So he checks, looks good, and he wants to come back to try and tell me to come, let's go explore. And as he comes back, the dogs get up on their legs, and they'd obviously caught in a whiff of his foreign genes or his foreign smell. And they start growling. And he's like, okay, cool. I've been around a lot of dogs in my life. I can walk past them very slowly. I can just step back. And he's taking a few steps back. And then the dogs just all of a sudden become super rogue. And they start barking like mad, and they're obviously bouncing off each other's energy. And then he's still walking, and he tries to walk past them, and then the one just comes out of nowhere and gives him literally jumps on his back and gives a chunk out of his middle back. And then he starts running back towards me. Yeah, and he runs back around the corner. And as he comes back, I'm like, why is he running back? And all of a sudden, the dogs are chasing him around the corner as well. So then I just turn around and I start running too, because I'm not going to flipping be in the same place as him. Yeah. And then they stopped chasing him, but then had to take him to the hospital. He was determined though. He ended up finishing his 10K run like before he would concede that he had been bitten by a dog. Even I stopped and I was like, nah, fuck that, I'm not running now. Like, but yeah, he had to get tetanus shots. It was a whole drama. But anyways, where were we going with this?
The challenges.
Yeah, the rest of my trip.
The challenges.
Oh yeah, the challenges. Yes, yeah. So actually in Phong Nha, one of the challenges was to run a 15K run, which that was one of the most beautiful ones I did. I don't know, like, do you know what Phong Nha looks like, the place where we met? It's middle Vietnam, surrounded by most beautiful mountains. Obviously the north is a lot more picturesque or a lot more exquisite, but I really loved the Phong Nha area. And so yeah, that was where I did that challenge. And then he basically gave me like 60 points, and each one was like 5 points or 10 points. One of them was because I also bought a suit. There's this famous place called Hoi An where you buy suits. Ended up buying a suit. So he was like, okay, cool. You have to go out in your suit one night, or you have to do karaoke in your suit one night for another points. What are some other ones?
There was some eating ones.
One was like, yes, I had to eat One of them was to eat a whole durian or jackfruit. I ended up doing both because like on one of the riding days, you just stop on the side of the road and there's there are these stalls like lined up next to each other. There's like 30 in a row, and they're all selling the same thing, by the way. So it's literally like copy paste, and by the 15th store, you're like, okay, shit, now I gotta stop. So you will stop, and then ended up eating a whole jackfruit, a whole durian. I don't know if you know what a durian tastes like.
No, have you?
It's like a prickly fruit on the outside, and then what they do is they cut it in half, and then they cut it into pieces, and it smells like if you had to mix rotten flesh and like onions together. That's what it smells like. So it smells disgusting. But so I had it 3 times over my stay in Asia, and the first time was in Cambodia. This guy gave it to me, and the first time you taste it, it tastes horrible because you're eating it with your smell. But the second time, you start to develop you get used to the texture, and the texture is like a mango-y kind of thing, and it starts to be like a mango. You realize that it's super creamy, super mango-y, and the taste you start to get used to it. So by the third time I had it, I loved it, and it's super super sweet, super rich, super creamy. It's like a dessert. It's why it's like the most popular or the most beloved fruit of Asia. Like it's even in Cambodia, there's this town called Kampot where they have a big statue of a durian in the middle of their town. Trippiest thing ever. But anyways, yeah. So that was one of eating. That was one of them. Also ate like scorpions, and you eat weird food while you're around, and that got a bit of points. And one of the coolest ones was actually going for a night on my suit, because I thought that as I started the challenges, I thought that I was starting to kind of like push them and go out of my way to do them, and I started to feel like it wasn't as authentic anymore. So I hadn't actually done the suit one, and I hadn't done the karaoke one yet. But I ended up staying like another 2 weeks. I went to Thailand just for 2 weeks just to use up all the money I had. And I had told my brother, I was like, okay, Nick, I'm not going to finish these challenges. Like, thanks for doing them, but I'm not finding them as authentic as I want to find them anymore. I want to just, I want to go with the flow of what happens to me, you know? So I ended up telling him that, and he was like, oh, okay, no worries, dude. You've done a lot, and it's all good. But then, as it happens, like the next day, I find myself in a backpackers in Bangkok, and I meet this photographer. His name's Sean, and he's like, dude, I'm going to a skyscraper to look at a view of Bangkok. And I'm like, okay, skyscraper, sky bar, that's fancy place. I can wear my suit there. Okay, cool. I don't actually have to go on a night out or party or whatever, because like that's a bit kish or cliche. Like, you're the only one wearing a suit. It's not going to be like authentic. But if I go to a sky bar, like that'll be the vibe of it. So ended up going to the sky bar with this guy Sean. He's like a photographer type of guy. Ended up taking some cool pictures as well, some cool edits with that, and had a really good time like doing that. And then after that, ended up actually going out in Bangkok in the suit. Like I just wore the suit out, but it was like such a good time. And and it's because I didn't force it, like, because before I'd felt as if I was trying to like get these challenges to be forced, but I actually ended up completing everything on the list.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, and I thought I wasn't, but then as soon as I said like, okay, it doesn't matter if I finish everything, things just started popping up, opportunities started popping up to make it